And the skyline again drenched in rain. Been raining off and on all morning long. Stopped a short while ago and now beginning to fall harder again as Tyler Mahle makes his way in from the bullpen out in deep left center field in preparation of what will be his 14th start of the year. Astros, their first 3-game losing streak since the 3rd week of April. And for the Redlegs, it's their first 3-game winning streak since the middle of May. And boy, Chris, what a great way to kick off the next road trip. Jumping on the plane after the game today, knowing you have big ones in Milwaukee and a quick 2-game stop in Anaheim, coming off a would-be sweep of these Astros.
Well, you know, Tom, the vast majority of series are never swept. If it's a 3-game series, the vast majority are always 2 out of 3 wins. It's very hard to get a sweep of a ball club, especially a team like the Houston Astros. But it's possible to do it. I mean, the Reds have a good mindset. They've got a little bit something going. They've hit some key home runs. They've played very good defense. And as long as you do those things and don't make any mistakes on the base paths, you can win those tight ball games.
You know, Chris, I want to go back to the comments that Tyler Mahle made following his last start. And, you know, Mahle is a smart guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He doesn't just shoot from the hip, generally speaking. But we've seen other starters at times this year getting upset about being taken out of the game. What were your thoughts about these comments?
Well, first of all, I can relate to him 100%. Every pitcher that's ever pitched in the major leagues, even the minors for that matter, feels the same way, that you still have something left in the tank, yet you're being taken out of the ball game. It's completely out of your control. And for a young guy like Tyler Mahle, it's difficult to accept. But from David Bell's perspective, he's trying to do a couple of different things. Number one, he's trying to protect whatever lead or whatever small deficit he might have by bringing in the bullpen. The other thing, he may be trying to manipulate the team so his offense will finally score some runs. So, you know, when you start using words like ridiculous and so on, then you start creating drama and creating headlines, but there's nothing to this. I mean, this just happens in the heat of the moment. When a guy gets taken out of the ball game, I take those words and wash them away. Believe me, Tyler Mahle doesn't even remember saying them right now.
Well, we were told this game was going to begin at 1 o'clock, but we just had a quick shower come down. It appears now it's all but stopped, and I'm a little surprised they're not getting these teams out on the field. It's time to play baseball. There is a threat of rain, as we told you already, throughout the rest of this afternoon. So let's see if we can get this one started.
Well, here's the problem with the way the rain is right now. It's not just some front that's coming through that will clear out at a certain time. There are pop-up showers that 15 minutes ago didn't exist that all of a sudden are there now. So as the afternoon heats up, those are going to become more and more frequent, and there's no way to predict them. So the grounds crew will be on hold. And Tyler Mahle's got to put it out of his head, as do the Reds. You just go ahead and play baseball until Mother Nature says no.
Take a look at the season numbers for Tyler Mahle. The earned run average at 4.3. He's given up 12 home runs, a 2-7 record, and opponent's batting average at 259.
Well, under the category of what have you done for me lately, for Tyler Mahle, really not much. His last 4 starts have not really been very good ones, starting with back on May the 25th, just about a month ago against the Chicago Cubs. And for Mahle, it's a matter of a couple of different things. Being able to control the inside part of the plate against left-handers and getting his curveball over. What he does very well is this. He gets a lot of first pitch strikes in there, which is very good for him. What he doesn't do so well, he doesn't turn 1-1 counts into 1-2 counts. So when that swing happens, when you go from a 1-1 count to a 2-1 count, the batter gets the advantage, and that's when he ends up giving up a lot of hard hit balls.
Boy, how cool was that shot we just gave you from behind Mahle when you're looking up into the third deck of the ballpark, and gives you an idea of the stage that these guys are on when they take the mound in a major league game. Let's take a look at Houston's lineup presented by Furniture Fair under manager A.J. Hinch. They're 48-26, sitting atop the American League West. Bregman at shortstop, Brantley at left, and the big story, the return after over a month out of action with an injury, is Jose Altuve. Reddick in right, Gurriel at third, with Tyler White again at first, the latter third of Garrett Stubbs. Jake Marisnick is in center field, and Garrett Cole, the longtime Pirate turned Astro, is on the mound. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. They will go with Winker, Senzel, and Puig. The big story along the infield, really two of them. Iglesias back from the paternity list after welcoming in a beautiful baby girl. And Derek Dietrich giving Joey Votto a day off over at first base. Good to have Iglesias back. You can make an argument that from the beginning of the year until right now, he's been the best Reds player this season.
Well, he'll certainly be one of the better defensive players that we've seen at shortstop in quite a while.
And, of course, he has swung the bat so well. He's been anywhere between 285 and 305 pretty much the entire season. So we are set for baseball, the third and final game of this series. Let's see if Mahle and the Reds can pull off the sweep. First pitch fastball to Bregman in there, a strike, and we're underway at Great American Ballpark. Another nice crowd today. I mean, a lot of them are just making their way to the seats. We had over 25,000 here last night. And once everybody gets settled in, those seats will begin to fill up here shortly. Quickly 0-2.
It'll be interesting to see how much that breaking ball will be used by Tyler Mahle tonight. Anthony DeSclafani last night had great success primarily using his fastball. Had a lot of hop on it last night. Mahle's got some hop on his fastball too, and you know, it might be an idea just to go ahead and attack these Astros with the hard stuff.
A little bit of humidity in the air, but temperatures in the mid-70s. Quite comfortable out there when it's not raining. And there's a pitch that sweeps down and away, and it goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Bregman clubbed his 20th home run of the year. He leads the Astros in that category, along with his now 50 runs batted in.
It's a good high ball hitter. That home run he hit last night up around the letters.
Straight up in the air and playable for the right side of the infield, and manning second base and making the call and the catch is Peraza for the first out of the afternoon. Well, we told you by winning the first 2 games of this series, it's the first time the Astros have lost a series in the last 14 they have played. You've got to go all the way back to the last 2 days of April, the first 2 days of May, since they lost a series to anybody. And what's even more impressive about that is the fact that through most of that, not all of it, but most of it, they have been without 3 of their best players, arguably their 3 very best players. Altuve back today, George Springer, the center fielder, and their shortstop, Carlos Correa. Correa a long ways off with a broken rib, and they're hoping Springer's not too far down the line. 1-0 on Michael Brantley, and a fastball in there, a strike to even the count. I think everybody would be in full agreement. They've played so well, these Astros, at 22 over 500, that when they get all their horses back, they will be considered among the very elite in all of Major League Baseball, with another legitimate chance to get back to a World Series. They won it 2 years ago, beating the Dodgers in a thrilling series, and then got kicked around after sweeping the Indians in the division series last year. Boston took care of Houston in 5 games. Here's a 1-2 on Brantley. Another thing perhaps to keep an eye on today is the nibbling, if you will, lack of a better word, that we've seen from Mahle frequently. He'll get ahead of a batter 0-2, 1-2, and then all of a sudden it becomes 2-2 and 3-2, and we'll see how it plays out here today. 2-2 on Michael Brantley. Short center field. This will fall in a base hit.
Boy, he did that last night, Brantley did. He's got the knack of being able to bring his hands in, especially when he's behind on the count, which isn't very often because he swings so early and often. This ball, look how far inside it is, but he's able to get his hands in there, just get enough on the ball to flip it into the outfield, and he's got back-to-back base hits in this series like that.
Nice round of applause for some of the Astro fans that are here today. Welcoming back Jose Altuve, reinstated from the injured list, missed the last 35 games after being placed on the injured list with a left hamstring strain. There are some who believe that it's still his troublesome knee that has been the problem. A knee that was surgically repaired. And they're wondering if he's going to ever get back to full strength, at least this season. That remains to be seen. But what a player. Native Venezuelan, now 28 years old. 5'6" he's listed at 168 pounds.
Well, you know, if you're pitching to Jose Altuve, the first thing you notice is a reduced strike zone. So really you would think that Altuve has an advantage over a big tall hitter, let's say a Chris Bryant, who's about a foot taller than Altuve, because he's got a foot more in the strike zone to try to control. Altuve, he's just a good high ball hitter.
Tapper down to third. There's one. They'll turn it over, and a nice way to get it started for Tyler Mahle, the double play. Reds turned 3 of those last night. All right, Reds coming up against Garrett Cole when we come back. All right, Reds coming to bat, bottom of the first inning. Let's take a look at their starting lineup under manager David Bell, presented by Furniture Fair. It will be Senzel in center, Winker in left, Suarez at third. Dietrich, the first baseman, batting cleanup. Puig in right, Iglesias back at short. And a ladder third of Peraza, the second baseman, the catcher Casali, and Mahle on the mound. Garrett Cole in his career against the Reds, an earned run average of almost 5, a 1-8 record. The only time he ever beat the Reds was a 1-0 victory pitching for Pittsburgh, and the 1 run was scored on his home run. But I think most would certainly agree, Chris, you know better than anybody else, this is a different Garrett Cole than the one we saw in Pittsburgh.
Well, he's always been an exceptional prospect. Drafted #1 2 times in his career, taken first pick overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates out of UCLA when he was a teammate of Trevor Bauer. You know, his fastball average is about 97. He's thrown it as hard as 100 miles an hour 10 times already this year. And the Astros made a few adjustments when they got him over there. A lot of people had projected that. In Pittsburgh, he was a guy that would mix in a 2-seam fastball, trying to get some ground balls. He's pretty much scrapped that pitch and gone all with fastball, curveball, and slider. Doesn't throw many changeups anymore. But the thing that he's been able to do is increase his spin rate. We talked about that yesterday when we discovered spin rate in our pregame show. Talked about how Verlander has an exceptional spin rate on his 4-seam fastball. Garrett Cole has worked on that. It's not an easy thing to try to improve your spin rate. He's one of the few pitchers that's been able to improve more than 10%.
Senzel started the appeal. He does not go around. Quinn Wolcott, the home plate umpire. You saw Marvin Hudson, the crew chief, down at first. Roberto Ortiz, the umpire, at second. And Adrian Johnson down at third. Sun shining brightly for the time being. And a 2-2 to Senzel. And grounded foul. Cole, a 2-time All-Star here in Cincinnati. His first in 2015, then again last year.
You know, one of the things that an increased spin rate has done for Garrett Cole is given him more swings and misses on that fastball. He hasn't really increased his velocity any, but how that ball looks to hitters is the big thing, and that's where spin rate comes in. So he's increased his strikeout percentage drastically, and that's been a big help to him.
3 balls and 2 strikes. That fastball at 97. Senzel was dropped out of the leadoff spot last night for the first time since he's been in the lineup after being brought up from AAA Louisville roughly a month plus into the season. And he draws a walk against Cole to begin the game. Of course, Winker had the monster game here on Sunday where he had a career-high 4 hits. He drove in 5 runs, including a home run to the opposite field. And then got the Reds off and running here last night. He was not in the lineup on Monday, but yesterday, leading off the game, another opposite field home run. This one off Verlander. Reds also got a 2-run home run in that first inning by Dietrich, and the most opposite field home runs in Major League Baseball this year. IGS bringing the energy. DeWink, second only to Javier Baez. Senzel very much a base stealing threat. He has 5 of them in 8 attempts.
And Cole is about average when it comes to speed to the plate. Big lead, though.
You know, Chris, you would know. You've been out there on the mound, and granted, we've already documented and discussed the fact that Cole is a different pitcher than the one we saw with the Pirates, but there has to be something, right, to the fact that another team, for whatever reason, and they're different players, there are only a handful of them that are still around from when Cole was over with the Pirates that are in the Reds lineup today. Certainly not Senzel. Winker was just coming up. Suarez was around. Dietrich seen him a ton, on and on and on and on. But in the back of your mind, if things start to kind of unravel, are you saying, here we go again against the Reds?
Well, probably so, especially in this ballpark, although he has pitched well here one time. I got to think that, you know, those kind of demons are sometimes hard to get out of your head. But the fact that Cole did those pitching and that poor record against the Reds when he was 22, 23, 24 years old, he's now 28. Which is the time that Major League Baseball players begin to really set their peak. Made the All-Star team last year as an Astro. Made it one time when he won 19 games for the Pirates in 2015.
And he misses on a 2-2 pitch. So after getting ahead of Winker at 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count is now full, and you would certainly believe, even though Cole is the premier strikeout pitcher in Major League Baseball, the Reds would start Senzel here on a 3-2 count. We'll see.
Well, he led the league last year in strikeouts per 9 inning, and he's doing the same again this year.
Senzel running, and it's ball 4 again. Back-to-back walks to begin this game. Issue to Senzel and Winker, and now the Reds have something cooking again against one of the real good starters in this Houston rotation.
Yeah, that's a really good job by Jesse Winker right there, because, you know, a number 2 hitter, usually it's Joey Votto in this spot, is always important to have on a 3-2 count really good strike zone recognition. Don't jump out of the strike zone and start chasing something just because you think he's going to throw you a strike on 3-2. And that's always been one of Jesse Winker's best assets.
Well, let's see if those gremlins are starting to stir around in the head of one Garrett Cole. As back-to-back walks he's issued to begin this game. And here's Eugenio Suarez slumping of late. And here's a tapper. So they'll get 1, and they will get 2. So a runner at third, 2 away. We look at Houston on defense, and they'll go with Marisnik flanked by Brantley and Reddick in the outfield. We talked about the return of Altuve and Bregman, their third baseman, playing short. And Stubbs, a rare start behind the plate since they brought him to the big leagues. Here's Derek Dietrich. But when they put him in the lineup and play him at first base, how about his numbers? 9 games as a starter at first. He has 6 home runs, 12 runs batted in, and a .440 batting average. When they start him anywhere else, and of course that's the overwhelming majority of starts, 57 of those, he's not even a .200 batter. So he has been more than up to the task of filling the shoes of one Joseph Votto at first. Breaking ball in there, strike, 1-1. Cole comes with a fastball at 98 miles per hour, and Dietrich drops it foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Take a look at that. 18 of the 38 hits have reached the seats. He hit number 18 here last night, his first home run in the month of June. And that one lined into right field, but it stays up long enough for a sliding grab by Reddick. He hit that ball right on the nose. So the Reds watch Cole wiggle off the hook. Kroger and the Reds are always proud to team up to offer you a great value this year. We call it the Kroger Meal Deal. You get it for $9.25. It includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, a 16-ounce Coke, and through the end of the month, you also get a Slim Jim. Make sure you get your Kroger Meal Deal at Great American Ballpark. Well, Garrett Cole walks the first two in the first inning, gets a double play ball and a line out, and we are scoreless as Tyler Mahle climbs the hill to face Josh Reddick. And we start the second inning, strike one. Reddick at .298, 8 home runs, 25 runs batted in. He made the final out of the game here last night. Michael Lorenzen coming on to save each of the last two games for the Redlegs. He has 4 of those saves, that is, on the year. Well, we kind of caught wind through the grapevine that apparently Justin Verlander was unhappy about the baseballs here last night. If there is such a thing, he felt they were light, as in not the normal feel weight-wise. I mean, Verlander only gave up, after that first inning, he gave up the 2 home runs. He gave up 2 hits for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 innings before a 2-out home run to Farmer to the second deck in left field in the 7th inning. The only other guy I can ever remember that came in here, and it's not to say there haven't been others, and on any given day, who knows? Maybe the way they're rubbed up before a game and all that kind of thing. But remember vividly, Chris Carpenter, former St. Louis Cardinals great, came in here and was really upset about the baseballs the final week of the season. Reddick gone on strikes. First of the game by Tyler Mahle.
Really great combination of the last 2 pitches for Mahle. The pitch before that, if you remember, is one right underneath the elbows. Kind of chased Reddick off the plate right there. And, you know, you buy yourself a little bit of extra something when you can come inside successfully and then follow it up with a nice hopping fastball like Mahle has.
Here comes Yuli Gurriel, the third baseman. First pitch swinging in the air and out of play, strike one.
I'll tell you, very much like D'Anthony DeSclafani last night early on, looks like Mahle's got a little hop on that heater. Although the first 2 pitches to Gurriel have been sliders or curveballs. Remember that Mahle has his changeup, and he'll throw that more to left-handers and right-handers. He uses a split finger grip, so it comes in there rather hard. It's not a 10-mile-an-hour difference like Luis Castillo, but it's a good swing and miss pitch when he gets it down.
Hit hard into right field. It will back up Puig to the track, and he'll make the over-the-shoulder grab for out number 2.
You know, Puig just gives you the feeling that when the ball is out in his vicinity, he's got complete control.
So the first 2 retired, and now it'll be Tyler White, the first baseman. White had a couple of doubles here in the game last night, was on base 3 times in the series opener, walking all 3 times. And a check swing foul ball down to strike. White gave this team a big-time lift last year. I mean, there are obviously bigger names and players with more impressive resumes, but when you consider that he did not even play in 70 games last year, a little more than 200 at-bats. He hit 12 home runs and knocked in 42 runs. That is a super sub indeed. And for a guy who was a 33rd round draft pick.
Well,
how about that?
He didn't get called up last year until June, and even then he was, went back to the minor leagues. When Jose Altuve went on the disabled list, he was back up. And that's when Gurriel went to fill in for Altuve, and White took over at first base. So he came into this year, White anyway, came into this year thinking that he would be the guy that would take over primarily the DH role.
Three balls and a strike on Tyler White. And Malley to the plate. And White wasn't so sure. Fastball on the outside corner, right around the knees to run it full.
No doubt about this one. I mean, he probably underestimated the little comeback action on that Malley fastball.
All right, 3 balls and 2 strikes to White with 2 down and none on in a scoreless game. And he blew him away with a high fastball at 95 miles per hour in a perfect second inning with a pair of strikeouts.
Check out our T-Mobile's connection to the game. Twins Red Sox, Max Kepler for Minnesota with a walk-off single in the 17th inning, longest AL game this season. For the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton's back 0 for 4 in his return after a bicep shoulder strain. Edwin Encarnacion hits his first home run as a Yankee. And Cole Hamels, the 10th left-handed pitcher in MLB history with 2,500 strikeouts.
You know, it's interesting that Max Kepler story, that wasn't the entire story for him. He tied the game with a base hit in the 9th inning, tied the game in what, the 11th or 13th inning, and then won the game in the 17th inning. That is stepping up big time. By the way, everybody inside the National League Central Division lost last night. Everyone, of course, except for the Red Legs. Here's Yasiel Puig. And that ball is killed into left center field, and the Reds lead 1-0. I tell you what, if you're a fan out in left center field, you better duck if Puig hits one like that.
I mean, this ball was right in his wheelhouse. I mean, center of the play, a little bit lower than the belt. And I mean, that's where Puig's swing is. In fact, if you look at all his home runs, they're all within just a few inches of that spot right there. And Cole threw it hard, but the wrong spot.
Puig gets his 3rd home run in 5 games. He had a stretch there before the last couple of nights where he was 10 for his last 20. This could be an infield hit. What a play made by the shortstop, Bregman. That is a big-time play by a guy who's used to playing a lot more third base.
Bregman makes a great play on this. You know, he's really a seasoned shortstop. He grew up being a shortstop, was at LSU as a shortstop. He and Dansby Swanson, the 2 best players in the draft. Both of those guys were shortstops. And he's back in his natural position with Carlos Correa out. Makes a dandy play there.
Reds 1, the Astros nothing here in the last of the 2nd inning. And now Peraza 214, 5 home runs and 18 batted in. Chris, you commented a couple of times. Despite an 0 for 3 night, good signs from Peraza. Hit the ball very hard 2 of those 3 at bats.
You know, a little more patience is what you want out of Peraza. You know, don't get anxious. Don't start chasing pitches down and away. That's definitely his weakness there. I mean, he's a guy that loves the ball, middle of the plate, inner half. And when he gets his pitch, he can launch it a long way.
Fastball up and away, doesn't chase that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jose Peraza with Kurt Casale due up next. So the Reds scored all of their runs, all 4 of their runs, thanks to the home run ball here last night. They got the home run by Winker, a 2-run shot by Dietrich, a solo blast by Farmer. They only needed 3 runs in a 1-run decision and scored the 3 without a home run here Monday night against Wade Miley. And gone swinging Peraza. That's the first strikeout of the game by Cole. Scoring first is generally a very good recipe for success, and that has been the story for the Redlegs this year. Those numbers pretty much mirror what every team, what their numbers from a winning percentage would look like. Historically, through the years, you're going to win a little better than 65% of the games which your team scores first.
What you really ought to need, what you really need, the missing piece there is how many runs do you score first? Is it a 3-run homer or is it a solo homer?
Well, the answer for that today is a solo homer. And that just occurred to lead off this inning. And I mean, they might have to replace that seat in left center. That gentleman right there, stand and salute and a round of applause for Fielding Lee. Fought in 10 different battles as a member of the United States Navy in World War II. And boy, he looks strong as ever, doesn't he? Thank you for your service, young man, and enjoy the ball game. Reds do such a great job, not every now and again, but every game, of recognizing different members of the military from Reds country. And I once read about a year or two ago that if you were to draw a circle around Cincinnati about 150 miles out, that there are still more living World War II veterans in that area than in any area in the entire United States of America. Fly ball to left field. That's an easy out. Garrett Stubbs, first pitch from Malley to begin the third inning. Malley very sharp so far here today. I mean, there's no fooling around with Malley out there. He's on that rubber and ready to go. Here's the center fielder, Jake Marisnick, getting his second straight start in center field. Breaking ball in there, strike.
You know, Tom, I think when you pitch a baseball game, you want to feel like you take control of things. And part of that is taking control of the pace of the game. Watch the really good pitchers. Max Scherzer, Verlander, guys like that. They're not pacing around between pitches and wondering what they're going to throw and kicking at the dirt and playing with the rosin every time. They're back up on the hill ready to go. They're taking control, and I think that, you know, little by little, young pitchers learn all of that from watching the really great ones. Now, there are days when you don't feel very good out there. You don't feel like your stuff matches up. You just can't throw the ball where you want to. You're getting bad breaks. You know, you have a tendency to take a little bit more time. And that sometimes exposes you to the other team of, you know, maybe not being as aggressive as you should be.
Nothing in 2-1 Marisnick. And a fastball that sails high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitcher Garrett Cole due up next, and he can swing the bat a little bit. Oh, boy. Malley just shaking his head, wondering why that was not strike 3. Appeared to be a good call off the outside corner. So here's one of those at-bats that we've talked about a little bit. It's not that he's nibbling. I mean, he's coming after him with a fastball. He's just missed. So after being ahead 0-2, you had a foul ball for a third pitch, and now 3 in a row out of the strike zone. Payoff coming.
Well, you can nibble with a fastball. I mean, I think what you mean by nibbling, and I think everybody feels the same way, is that when, you know, you're trying to get expand the zone and make the hitter chase pitches that are off the plate. And when they chase them, you make a good pitch. When they don't chase them, you're accused of nibbling. Kind of a catch-22 for pitchers.
Once more, the payoff pitch coming to Marisnick. Good battle here. And he blew him away with another high fastball at 94 miles per hour. 3 strikeouts for Tyler Malley.
Yeah, they've come on the fastball. And this is a good one right here. Mahle has a tendency to stay right behind the fastball, and that's the way you add spin rate. And spin is very important to that because it has more ride on a pitch that does that. It rises a little bit in the eyes of the hitter. Garrett Cole has figured out a way to increase his spin rate, and Mahle's is actually better than what Garrett Cole's was when he was in Pittsburgh. So not quite at the elite level where Cole is right now. But there are some adjustments he can probably make along the way to increase that a little bit.
Last time Garrett Cole pitched in this ballpark as a member of the Pirates, that's a game we talked about earlier. The only time he's ever beaten the Reds. That was late in September in a 1-0 game, and he hit a home run in that game. We've seen that already done to the Reds this year. Noah Syndergaard, you may remember, in a 1-0 game.
And that's why he's getting the old curveball right here. 3 career home runs, 15 runs batted in career-wise.
One ball, 2 strikes. Pair of Southern Californians going toe-to-toe here in Cole and Tyler Mahle.
Now this is rare. Mahle should be concentrating on pitching north and south rather than in and out. I think he's kind of a north and south pitcher. Run a high fastball up there and throw it right by him.
Hit hard the other way, but in amongst the fans, still a full count.
I mean, you just blew Marisnick away on a fastball, Tyler White away on a fastball, Josh Reddick away on a fastball. And that's the mindset you've got to do. Sometimes pitchers are afraid of giving up hits to other pitchers because it's an extra blemish. Sounds strange, but it's true.
3-2 once more on Garrett Cole. Back-to-back hitters running the count full against Mahle. And another foul ball. This will be the 8th pitch in this at-bat, pitcher against pitcher. And right down the middle, strike 3. 7 in a row retired by Mahle. The Reds lead 1-0.
A lot of attention has gone to Raisel Iglesias, Michael Lorenzen, and who's been closing out the games. Now, last night and before the season, David Bell said, don't be surprised if we don't use Raisel Iglesias in high leverage situations. And that might not always mean the 9th inning. Well, last night, the highest leverage situation was in the 8th inning. And David Bell said after the game, this was the game right here. They'd given up a home run. There was a runner on base. They called on Iglesias to get out the middle of the order. Gurriel, Chirinos, and he struck both of them out. Lorenzen came in and closed down the game. So don't look for Lorenzen to be the new closer. It could be closer by committee, but he thought he wanted his best pitcher in that situation. His best pitcher, he thought, was Raisel Iglesias.
You know, it always sounds good in theory. David Bell said that in the beginning of spring training. That's how they're going to do it, right? But then actually putting it into practice is a little bit more difficult because you've got the personality of the closer. And not just Raisel Iglesias, but every closer out there who's used to picking up saves. Now you got to come in the 7th inning. Where's the glory of pitching in the 7th inning?
Bregman behind the bag will throw out Mahle to begin the 3rd inning.
I think it probably goes along the same lines of a closer accepting that he's the best arm in the bullpen. So we're going to use you in the highest leverage situation. The same that a starting pitcher has to accept the fact that runs begin to score on you after you face the lineup for the 3rd time through. So we're going to come and get you earlier than we used to. It's kind of the same, you know, face the facts meeting.
Mm-hmm. Back to the top of the order in Senzel. Reds on a solo home run by Yasiel Puig leading off the second inning. That's the only run of the game so far. Senzel walked, so too did Winker. Leading off the Cincinnati first, but Cole able to induce a double play ball by Suarez and got Dietrich on a liner to right. Good cut there by Senzel.
You know, you'll notice one difference between Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander is that Verlander pitched north above the strike zone more than Cole does. Cole throws a lot more low fastballs for strikes than does Justin Verlander. Except for that one. That's the one you want to lay off because it's basically impossible to do anything with. 99 at the eyes.
Everyone else inside the National League Central will be playing later today or later tonight. The White Sox beat Pedro Strop in the Chicago Cubs 3-1 last night, so the Cubs are a half game behind Milwaukee. The Brewers have lost 2 in a row out in San Diego. Cardinals were roughed up by the Marlins last night, and surprisingly, the Reds go into play today only 3.5 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals for third in the division. And against the shift, Winker just shoots it through the left side. A 2-out single for Jesse Winker.
Well, it's a prevent shift, meaning that they're going to move most of the guys to the right side of the infield, but they're also going to leave the third baseman there to prevent against a bunt. And Winker uses the one spot that's open.
Suarez just 2 of 19 on the homestand with 1 run batted in. He has scored 1 run. And he tapped into a double play in that first inning. Where Suarez has been that kind of guy the last 3 years since getting regular playing time after coming over from Detroit in the trade. He's blossomed into one of the best third basemen in all the Major League Baseball with the glove and the bat. But one of those guys that just when you think that slump will continue for another day or a couple of days, he will light up the scoreboard. And it went around, fooled badly on the breaking ball there, 1-2.
I don't think there's any doubt that Suarez could use a day off, and Votto needed a day off. But if you're David Bell, that's a very tough decision to make, to say, oh, do I rest both of my key guys, my corner infielders, on the same day? You'll be facing a very tough right-hander by Garrett Cole. Sometimes a day off against him is not a bad thing.
And Suarez rips one down the left field line. It's going to be cut off by the left fielder Brantley. So good solid contact there by Suarez, and the Reds with back-to-back 2-out singles.
Well, the same pitch that he grounded into a double play on the very first one he saw the first time up. He lifts into left field for a solid line drive. Got that ball out in front of the plate. That was the difference right there. He was a little bit late on the earlier breaking ball, but when you get that 4 to 6 inches out in front of home plate, that's when you can get a little bit of elevation and you can get it right on the barrel.
You know, we talked about last night before the game started that in 100 innings pitched, Verlander had allowed 17 home runs, and you wondered would the Reds be able to maybe run into a couple last night, and they did 3 of them. Well, really the same holds true for Garrett Cole. He's allowed 15 home runs, make it now 16 home runs in 91 innings.
Welcome to baseball in 2019.
You got it. I mean, what
home
a
runs
time
are
this would
up
be.
Everywhere. Just because the Reds aren't hitting home runs, it doesn't, and especially in the month of June, they have the last couple of days, but overall they haven't. Doesn't mean the rest of the league is not.
Well, Dietrich quickly behind 0-2. I mean, all of last year, we said that Cole's already given up 16 this season in 91 innings. In over 200 innings last year, he allowed a total of 19 home runs. Reds hoping for a 0-2 mistake with 2 outs and 2 on from Cole here. Dietrich lined out to right field his first time up. And he strikes him out to retire the side. 2 hits, 2 left. 3 strikeouts in the game for Cole. Reds lead 1-0. Tonight on an all-new Reds Weekly, what a special Father's Day it was for Reds coach Delino DeShields last weekend. And 150 years of baseball has produced plenty of gold from the shortstop position. My, have the Reds had some good ones. Catch an all-new Reds Weekly tonight at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Ohio, or streaming on Fox Sports Go. What a great show that is, co-hosted by Jeff Piccolo and Doug Flynn. And that show produced by our good buddy Rufus, Ronnie Millinor. Top of the 4th inning. Tyler Mahle has faced the minimum through 3. He's allowed 1 hit and has a 1-0 lead. So it's Bregman, Brantley, Altuve in inning number 4. Strike 1 to Bregman, who popped up to the second baseman Peraza, leading off the game. Tyler has not walked a batter. He has fanned 4, and all 4 have come in the last 2 innings. And that is strike 3 called on Bregman, and I'm not sure what he has to argue about there, if he is arguing at all.
Well, you may have seen right before the pitch, Casale kind of pounded the ground and said, I want this one down. And not only down, but threaded the needle right on the corner.
5 strikeouts now from Mahle, and here's now Michael Brantley. Brantley singled, a little bloop flare that fell in between Peraza and the center fielder Senzel. That's the only Houston hit so far in this game.
Boy, is that a good pitch. I mean, it's almost impossible to intimidate big league hitters, but to be able to throw that pitch in that spot is about perfect. You come more inside, you hit the batter, all sorts of bad things happen. You leave it out over the plate, the guy hits you, and all sorts of bad things happen.
Playable for Casale, fires the mask away, and in foul territory. The first 2 retired now in the Houston 4th, and coming up later on, we'll have our whole true moment presented as always by Miller Lite. So now Altuve, 2017 American League Most Valuable Player, 4 times in his career, 200 hits or more, led the American League 4 straight seasons, and 3 times has won a batting title. His days of leading the American League in stolen bases may be over. He's done that twice. That was a very, very serious knee surgery he's trying to come back from. Seemed like he's been around forever. He's just 28 years young. He was not off to a good start this year, and many believe that was directly because of trying to come back from that surgery. And on the ground to Iglesias, and how about Malley's faced the minimum through the front four, and he has a 1-0 lead.
All right, Garrett Cole, one of the hardest throwers around, and the Reds lead him 1-0 right now. Let's take a look at the hard throwers that the Reds have faced so far this year and what they've done against the Reds. Noah Syndergaard, of course, the home run that beat the Reds. He beat them 1-0 with a 10 strikeout complete game shutout. Zach Wheeler got bounced around a little bit. He also at 97 miles an hour. Cole today, Jacob deGrom, not only with his fastball, but did an excellent job with his changeup. And Walker Buehler, an explosive fastball. Reds have seen him twice. They've gotten 1 run against 15 strikeouts, a little over 12 innings.
Each of those games against Syndergaard and deGrom turned into 1-0 games. The Reds losing to Syndergaard, and even though they did not give deGrom the loss, that was a 1-0 victory. Here's Puig, a home run, a laser to left center field, deep left center field, about 3/4 of the way up the lower deck. It was hit on such a low line drive trajectory.
You know, kind of interesting, Tom. I'm looking up now the exact opposite. What we showed you were the 5 hardest throwers in baseball and what they've done against the Reds so far this year. If you start looking at the slowest ones that have faced the Reds this year, they've also done pretty doggone well.
Yes, they have. You mean the pitchers have done well?
The pitchers.
Yeah.
Kyle Hendricks, for instance, has pitched a very good game against the Reds. Kershaw averaging 90 miles an hour. Mike Fiers threw a no-hitter against the Reds. He's in the slowest 10 of Major League Baseball. So
what about Rich Hill? Is he in there? He had a great game too.
Yeah, he did. I don't see him.
All right.
Right now, I mean, Cole Hamels is averaging 91. He's 23rd slowest. So it's quality pitching is quality pitching. But I must say, I mean, velocity trumps all. It does it in the amateur market when you're scouting players. It does it in college and in high school. If you've got the kid who's the fastest thrower in the county, chances are you're going to strike out the most guys. And really, you can project that into the major leagues. But that's only part of the equation once you get here. There are a lot of guys that can throw 97 miles an hour that are doing something other than playing baseball because they couldn't control it.
Here's Jose Iglesias. He was robbed of a beautiful play behind the bag made by his counterpart Alex Bregman in the second inning. Bang, bang play at first. Reds will jump on the plane after this one and make the short flight, roughly an hour flight, if not less than that, up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to begin a very important 4-game series starting tomorrow night. First time the Reds will get a look at Jimmy Nelson since he's come back from the injured list. Tanner Roark to start the series opener. Sonny Gray the second game. Luis Castillo Saturday. That will be an afternoon tilt. And then Anthony DeSclafani on Sunday. And that's back up through the middle. Bregman not going to rob him this time, even if he fields it cleanly. That was hit much slower than the first one, so an infield hit this time for Iglesias.
just putting the ball in play. I mean, that's so much better than sitting back and taking a huge swing at a really good slider right there. So Cole makes a good pitch, gets a bad result. Almost an Ozzie Smith type attempt right there by Bregman.
And you know, during his amateur career or pro career, he's made that play before.
Oh, yeah.
That kid's an athlete. Ball player. And that one served into right by Peraza, and easily going to third will be Iglesias. So Peraza says, all right, I hit a couple of them last night, but right at him, and this one he just loops in there for a hit.
The Jose Lalab right into shallow right field. I mean, this ball's going to end up barely getting out of the infield right there, but who cares? First and third, the Reds now bottom of the order, but still with the chance to get something done here. I know you're a big exit velocity fan, Tom. We talk about it between innings quite often, and the rundown on that one, 56 miles an hour.
This is a huge at bat in this game for the Reds, with the pitcher spot due up next. The Reds are really leaning hard on Casale, who looks at the first pitch for a strike, to get at least a run home in this inning.
Yeah, that means get a pitch so you can get in the air and into the outfield.
He hit the ball very hard, a line out to the left fielder his first time up. And he's quickly behind 0-2. With Cole coming right after him after an 0-1 breaking ball, 97 fastball there.
Well, Cole's thinking strikeout all the way right here. He could run it up the ladder around the eyes and try to get him to chase, or he could throw that down and outside slider.
And he goes up the ladder to strike him out on 3 pitches. That's 4 in the game for Cole, and now the pitcher Tyler Mahle.
Yeah, I always think the strikeouts are kind of like stolen bases. It's not necessarily how many you have, but it's when you get those strikeouts. He needed one right there. Reached back, got a little extra, got the strikeout that he needed.
Mahle put the ball in play, hit a sharp grounder to the shortstop his first time up. He's just 1 for 21 as a batter this year. Strike one. 99.
Have you noticed where low fastballs seem to register faster than high fastballs? Yeah, they do. Velocity wise. Although he's just now getting loose, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I guess he is.
Said at the very beginning of the ball game that, you know, if you go back and look at all the pitch numbers for Garrett Cole, he has thrown 10 pitches so far this year at 100 or above.
Nothing in 2 on Mahle. And 6 straight strikes after the Reds put him on the corners with 1 out. Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Ford. Go further. And by Kroger. It's easy to place your order online, then you pick it up in the store. Try it today at Kroger.com. 2019 Google MLB All-Star Ballot now open. Vote daily at Reds.com/vote. And on Google by searching for your favorite Reds or MLB vote. What a start for Tyler Mahle. Only allowed 1 base runner through the first 4 innings. And that lone base runner was a bloop single by Brantley, the second batter of the game. He's retired 10 in a row, registering 11 outs in the process. So Reddick, Gurriel, and White, the scheduled trio for Houston in the 5th, with the Reds in front on a Yasiel Puig solo home run, 1-0. And it's strike one on the outside corner to Reddick, who struck out his first time up. Easy in center field for Senzel, out number one. Malley went 6 innings or more. His longest start of the year was in San Francisco. That's when he gave up that heartbreaking home run to Brandon Belt. He was cruising along, then his final inning in the 7th. Threw the breaking ball to Belt, and he belted it into McCovey Cove. There's a pop-up into short right field. Puig calling off Peraza, 2 down. And, you know, when the year began, Malley was going deeper into games than anybody in this Reds starting rotation. And, of course, the only reason he was in the rotation was because Alex Wood was injured during spring training. But he went 6 or more innings in what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in 5 of his first 8 starts of the year.
Reds didn't get him very many runs in those ball games, unfortunately, and his record sits at 2-7 because of that.
The last time he has gone longer than 5 innings in a game was against the Dodgers when he shut them out over 6 innings of 4-hit baseball way back on the 18th of May.
Yeah, he's got a good curveball working today, and when you have your fastball, which has some pop, and your breaking pitch working, that's a good formula to get you deep into a ball game. Tyler White right here looking for something to jerk. You could see his big body moving towards the shortstop, pulling off the play a little bit. He makes an adjustment with 2 strikes, but he's a guy that is kind of situational hitter. Got to be careful with him early in the count.
0-2. That's 60 pitches in the game for Tyler Malley. In 4 1/3 innings, his most recent start, he was 4 pitches shy of 100. So he got ahead 0-2, and now the count has gone full 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Good seats down there if you can get them. Almost guaranteed a foul ball souvenir.
That might be the kid that made that backhanded play earlier in the game today. That was one of the most impressive plays we've seen this year. I don't think that was him, because that kid we just showed you right there is right-handed. The other kid, a lefty. That kid right there, he played it like Scotty Rowland would, but as a left-handed third baseman. I mean, he went down, had his knees bent, reached over, snatched that thing in backhanded style. He's still ready. Good day for a hoodie. Here comes a 3-2.
We're taking another look at it.
I mean, look at this. That thing took a bad hop on him. I mean, nothing to it. Look at it. You can tell that kid's a gamer. Dietrich hit him with a gold zip down chain. Must have cooled off down there in the sun. There was a 9-pitch at bat that culminates in a walk to White. First of those today by Tyler Mahle. And those are the ones that we have seen at times this year for Mahle. He's only walked 18 guys in 74 innings, so it's not like it's a huge issue. It's just when they've come and then what's happened behind them. And this is what we're talking about. With 2 away in an inning, it seems like that's when he'll walk somebody, and then that's when some of these numbers come into play. Those are staggering numbers with 2 outs in an inning. Put those back up again. So let's see if Tyler can start to bring those down here with 2 away in the inning. First time he's pitched out of the stretch since the 3rd batter of the game, and it's been the only batter of the game where Mahle has had to pitch out of the stretch. That was against Altuve following the 1-out single by Brantley in the opening inning. He had retired 12 in a row before that walk. Good play down there by Dietrich. Staying with it. And that'll end the inning. 1 left. The Reds lead 1-0 after 4.5.
Here's today's Geico Reds historical moment. Let's go back in time, August 3rd, 1989. The Reds set a still-standing MLB record by scoring 14 runs in the first inning. Reds had an MLB record 16 hits in the inning, 12 singles, 3 doubles, and a home run. 7 different players had 2 hits each in the inning. First 8 batters reached base, then Tom Browning grounded out. Next 9 batters, though, each got a hit. 1989.
Tell you, one of my favorite Reds players, one of my favorite guys, Chris, I know you will concur, is Mariano Duncan.
Sure.
What a good guy, man. Always smiling. Good player. Had a nice career. So he had some big hits for the Reds after coming over from the Dodgers. Part of that World Championship team in 1990. There's a strike to Senzel. 1-2. We begin the 5th inning. Reds a 1-0 lead. Yasiel Puig with a home run to left center field, leading off the 2nd inning. That's been it. Reds have had a couple of real big chances. In fact, the other 3 innings where they failed to score, the home run came in the 2nd inning, we mentioned, by Puig, but the first 2 batters of the game, Garrett Cole walked. But Cole got a double play and a lineout. In the 3rd inning, the Reds had back-to-back 2-out singles, but could not get a run in. Fly ball to right will be out number 1. And then in their most recent go-round, in the 4th, they got an infield hit by Iglesias with 1 out. He went to 3rd on a little looper by Peraza, and they had him on the corners, but Cole got down to business right quick. Back-to-back strikeouts to get out of the inning. Winker's not been intimidated by Garrett Cole today. No, sir. Drew a walk in the 1st inning and a ground ball against the shift into left center field his last time up. I get such a kick out of Winker as a guy. That piece that Jim Day did where he was hanging out that day with Amir Garrett and Winker, and we replayed it last night during the rain delay where basically Winker's just sitting there and he's a cheerleader. I mean, he's just a fun guy.
Good guy to be around,
No
and obviously
doubt.
a good teammate. And thinking about bunting right here, and that's why Yuli Gurriel will come back from the very deep shortstop spot to kind of up around the grass area to maybe try to discourage Winker. Now the bench is going to send him back. Say, hey, if Winker wants a base hit on a ground ball or a bunt, we're going to give it to him.
Well, I tell you what, in a 1-0 lead, you'd be a fool not to take it.
I mean, why not? I saw Matt Carpenter do that and get a double out of it the other day.
3-0.
What the Astros have done, and they seem to be ahead of a lot of people on shifts, using analytics, using all the machines that are out there, is that they have their pitchers. If you're going to shift on a guy, they pitch him so that you're going to pull the ball. So in this particular case, Cole will pound the ball on the inner part of the plate, get breaking balls down and in. Those are tough pitches to hit the other way.
That ball into left center field. It'll find a gap and fall in a base hit by Winker. He's digging hard. He'll slam on the brakes. That's a good play made by the center fielder, Marisnik. Could be a very important play.
And it's the way you want Winker to run the bases, too. You want him hard out of the box, thinking, too, on everything he hits. I mean, he's not blessed with great speed, but it doesn't mean you can't be a good base runner. More of that, please.
Suarez fooled by that slow breaking ball. He bounced into a double play his first time up, then whacked one into left field for a single his next time. Astros have mounted comebacks each of the last two games late in the game. They trailed by 3 in game 1, made it a 3-2 game. They were down 4-1. They made it a 4-3 game. You just get the feeling if the Reds can, it's no guarantee obviously, but if they can find a way to push across another couple of runs, they really have Houston on its heels. 1 ball, 2 strikes. If a Red hits a home run off the Toyota sign during our game, Ken May of Cincinnati will win the new Tundra you see out in left center field each and every game, and that's thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. We were talking earlier, it's not always who you play, but when you play them. And when you look at the other teams inside the National League Central Division, the Cubs played these Astros when they had everybody hurt. The 3 guys we've been talking about, Altuve, and just before they played the Cubs, they lost Correa and George Springer. The Brewers played them just a week ago, so they caught them without their big guys. The Pirates will catch them next week. And really, Altuve figures to be the only one that will be back by Tuesday. The lone National League team that will have to play, well, the Brewers, I take that back. The Cardinals will play them the final weekend in August, and they should have everybody back. And then a 2-game series against Milwaukee again in September. 2-2 on Dietrich. Having said all that, not every team is guaranteed to have to see both Cole and Verlander in a 3-game series. And Wade Miley, for that matter, the way he's been pitching this year. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Dietrich. Cole has fanned 6. He walked the first 2 batters of the game. He's not walked a hitter since. Dietrich looking for something to hammer here on a 3-2 pitch. The runner obviously gets started over at first. Derek Dietrich with 18 home runs on the year. We'll do it again. Now, when you look inside some of those numbers, and we showed you earlier, Dietrich has become a complete 180 opposite of the kind of hitter he was playing for the Marlins. He's not become exclusively, but almost exclusively, a home run and occasional singles hitter. Whereas with the Marlins, he was always a guy that was a gritty, tough sort of at bat. Not suggesting he isn't now, but a guy who certainly was looking to put the ball in play more than drive it in the seats.
Here's a situation where you really just want to put that ball in play, continue the inning on, try to get Puig up there, who's had one really good at bat here so far against Cole.
And he does keep the inning alive by drawing the walk, and Puig will back. StatCast AI powered by AWS. Chris, you're always looking and sniffing around for that exit velocity. And launch angle even thrown in on this one. Man, was that ball stalled.
Hey, you know, it's been very difficult for Reds hitters to string together 2 or 3 hits in an inning against this Astros pitching staff. The home run ball has become the way of scoring here in this series. And you're hoping Yasiel Puig up for one more.
Cole kind of staring in there and wondering if Puig is going to get in the batter's box. He took an extended period of time, leaving the on-deck circle, making his way to the plate. I think Puig in a little bit of a pain here. Yep, right off the top of the foot, the toe area. Reds left 2-1 in the third. They left 2-1 in the fourth. They have 2-1 with 2 outs here in the fifth and lead 1-0.
Well, you hit a home run in your first at bat, and now you're down in the count with a chance to drive a run, and this is where you make an adjustment for Yasiel Puig. If you don't shorten up your swing, you at least shorten up your approach and your thought process.
.100 miles per hour for the first time, at least that I can recall today, for Garrett Cole.
You know, there aren't that many pitchers out there. I mean, per generation, who can, when you ask them to add a few inches to the fastball, that they can actually do that. Reach back and give me a little bit more. There's only a handful of guys at any one time that can do that. I think Verlander is one, and we're seeing Cole today. Kerry Wood was a guy that used to be able to do that.
0-2 on Yasiel Puig. Blew him away on the fastball at 101 miles per hour, so an even little more on it.
Okay, stop and smell my roses, posies. Appreciate my poses, they know I'm a fanfare like the Star Spangled. Oh, say, can you see my angles? Cause I'm hotter than the stove top. You can put the kettle on, but I'ma make the thing pop. No, I ain't talking about my work, just my work. You can add it all up while I'm beefing up my purse.
We're breaking out your music library on his homestand, Chris. Also Lizzo there.
I haven't heard that whole album yet, but
maybe dialed in
hope
tonight.
we get to it soon.
Yeah, maybe tonight on your way to Milwaukee. Lizzo. Big hit, Worship. All right, Tyler Mahle working on a 1-0 shutout. He'll face 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. He's only allowed 1 hit. And that was his second batter of the game, and it wasn't hit hard enough to break the proverbial pane of glass. Little flare out in the center by Brantley. He issued a 2-out walk to Tyler White in the 5th, and that's it. Hole due up next, and then the leadoff man, Bregman. 0-2 on Marisnick. He had an extended at bat his first time up, fell behind 0-2, worked it to 3-2, fouled away a number of pitches before striking out. And he has gone swinging on 3 pitches this go round.
Mahle's gotten one of these days where everything's working for him. This is the splitter. He uses it as a changeup, takes a little bit off that fastball pace, a nice downward sink. His curveball is nice today. He's throwing that curveball anywhere from about 76 miles an hour up to 80 miles an hour. That's a great speed for him. And nice pop on the fastball.
Garrett Cole trying to tie it up with one big swing of the bat, and he's done that in this ballpark before. Hit a home run. We talked about it earlier. I want to thank our son Luke for pointing out when I said he hit 100 miles per hour in that last at bat against Puig, he had actually hit 101 against Dietrich and then went 101 to Puig again.
Nice to have a fact checker inside the Brenneman household.
Well,
I bet
that's a busy job. Yes, very busy, especially his mom. And that's strike 3 to Cole. 7 strikeouts in the game now for Tyler Mahle, and quickly the first 2 retired on 6 pitches. Well, thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola. The July 1st through the 4th series, you can buy this $12 ticket package. You receive a voucher for a free regular hot dog and a 16-ounce fountain drink of the game. Amazing fireworks after the July 3rd game. Purchase the Great American Deal at Reds.com/deal. This is available only for this ticket package. First ball thrown in the inning by Mahle, and it's 1-0 on Bregman. 20 home runs on the year. He hit number 20 here last night in the 8th inning.
Now, one of the success keys today for Tyler Mahle is throwing that first pitch strike. I mentioned at the very beginning of the game, he does that very well. He's above the major league average in first pitch strikes at 67%. MLB average is 62. Today he's 15 of 19. And this is about a rare one where he's behind.
And a base hit into left center field by Bregman.
Good high ball hitter. I mean, you could tell that early on and watch him take a little bit of BP, but also with that home run that he hit last night that was up right around the letters. I mean, that may have even been marginally out of the strike zone. Most guys who are shorter in height are better high ball hitters than the really tall hitters.
All right, big batter in this game. It's Michael Brantley with a tying run at first and a first pitch fastball. Dots the inside corner at 93, a strike. And Mahle jumps ahead at 0-2.
I'll tell you, you know, Brantley's one of these no stride hitters. He uses a lot of upper body, uses his hands very well. But Mahle's fastball still has a lot of hop on it. You could tell by the way Brantley thought he was right on that pitch.
0-2 to Brantley. And this is a 2-1 Houston lead. On an 0-2 pitch, Brantley clubs his 11th home run of the year. And the Astros have their first lead of the series. Almost exclusively, as we showed you earlier, with 2 outs in an inning is when all of the damage, almost entirely all of the damage, has come against Tyler Mahle.
He knew it right away. It was a curveball. Tried to fool Brantley after throwing the fastball by him a couple of times. And he was wondering, can I get one more fastball by him? Or do I bounce a breaking ball in the dirt? He didn't get it down enough. I mean, that's when you can try to expand the zone a little bit, and just made a mistake with the location. You just cannot do that to a hitter the caliber of Michael Brantley and normally get away with it.
2-run home run in the inning. We're in the middle of the 6th, and the Astros with a 2-1 lead. Swing into summer tomorrow. The Reds hit the road to take on the first place Milwaukee Brewers. That'll be in Miller Park. Coverage on Fox Sports Ohio, streaming live on Fox Sports Go, begins at 7:30. Swing into summer, presented by Click It or Ticket. 2-run home run by Brantley, 2-1 Houston in front. Reds bat in the 6th. And trying to jerk that one into seats is Iglesias, and he wound up hitting it off the end of the bat, and that's 1 pitch and 1 out to begin the inning. Jose Peraza, the batter. Struck out his first time up. A little pop-up single into short right field his next time. Cole has been walking the wire all afternoon long, and he's pitched his way out of it. He gave up the solo home run to Puig, but he was the only base runner in that inning. In every other inning, the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, the Reds have had 2 base runners against Cole. They've stranded 7 in those 4 innings. Straight up in the air, and this will be easy for now 2 big, 2 down. Reds have action in their bullpen. Matt Bowman beginning to throw. We'll see if they've already made the decision. It looks like he's throwing like he's coming into the game. Mahle, for the time being, is standing in the on-deck circle, and maybe Bowman's throwing just in case Casale were to reach and the Reds hit for Tyler Mahle. Cole is trying for his first 1-2-3 inning of this game, and we're in the bottom of the 6th. And that's strike 3, so it is a perfect inning for Cole. He has 8 strikeouts in the game. Reds are down 2-1. Well, our Honda game summary. Yasiel Puig with a home run to left center field leading off the second inning. Have the Reds out to the 1-0 lead. And, well, I mean, Tyler Mahle on cruise control through the front 5 innings of this game. Only allowed 2 base runners, had a stretch of 12 in a row retired. But a 2-out single he gave up to Bregman in the 6th inning. And then on an 0-2 pitch, it was Michael Brantley. And a breaking ball just hammered to the seats in right field in a 2-1 lead. So here we go in the 7th. The Astros only 3 hits against Mahle. But the Reds have had a number of opportunities to try and score more than just the 1 run against Garrett Cole. And Cole has made the pitches when he's had to make them. Here's Reddick, and Mahle will get the ball to begin the 7th inning. And quite honestly, this is an opportunity now, and it's a very important opportunity for a guy like Mahle. You can say whatever you want, whether who remembers it or doesn't remember it. I can promise you David Bell remembers it. He may not feel, any ill will towards Mahle, but when a player comes out and says it's ridiculous that he's being taken out of games, those are real words. And those are real choices that a pitcher is making to use those words with the press. So this is a very important inning for Mahle. His managers give him a little rope here, down 2-1. He's throwing the ball very, very well. And his manager is expecting him to get through this 7th inning and no more runs on the board.
And I think Tyler Mahle is too. And I don't think that's probably lost on him. I mean, the start after he called it ridiculous for being taken out of the game early, he is given that opportunity.
And it looks like he'll get the first out of the inning. And does. Boy, Reddick busting it up the line there. That was very close. And look, in a perfect world here, I mean, David Bell needs Mahle to get through this 7th inning. He has his spot leading off the bottom of the 7th. That's number 1. But let's not forget, the options are probably quite limited for David Bell and his bullpen today. They've pitched Amir Garrett, Raisel Iglesias, and Michael Lorenzen each of the last 2 nights to the excess of 29 pitches. And I believe David Hernandez is, he's pitched the last 2 days as well. So, you might be looking at everybody else except for that quartet down there.
Well, that quartet that you just mentioned are those pitchers that normally pitch in games in which you're winning. And you wonder how many times you can ride them and which guy can be effective if you use him 3 days in a row. No day off before the Reds go and play that series in Milwaukee. They do have a day off next Monday. That's a long way away and not even worth planning about right now.
1-2 on Gurriel. And a high bouncer. Olay style for Iglesias. Oh, my. How sweet it is for the slick fielding Cincinnati shortstop.
Well, really no choice but to try this, but just some guys are much better at it than others. That ball's got a lot of overspin on it, and the closer you get to where it hits the ground, the better you are. And that's why he comes in, perfect angle, and once he grabs it, it's a beautiful looking play.
Two down now for Tyler White, who has struck out and drawn a walk.
Iglesias plays short. There are a lot of different ways that shortstops play. But Iglesias plays shortstop kind of like a gymnast. I mean, that's the kind of body he has, the body actions he has. Very smooth as he kind of glides across the infield.
1 strike on White. You brought up something earlier with White, and there's no doubt he's looking to do it again. You start spinning breaking balls on the inside part of the plate to this guy at this juncture in the game.
If you're going to do it, you get it done off the plate where he can't keep it fair.
Yep.
That's a fastball there that he was able to keep fair.
And it's always funny. And look, pitcher, you know this, Chris, as well as anybody. We'll take a look at his fastball that White's able to dump down the left field line in on his hands. But You know, pitchers will go back and replay games and moments in games, right, over and over, ad nauseum.
In their
right?
heads while they're trying to get to sleep.
But, you know, it's interesting. You go back to the 5th inning. Maui had retired 12 in a row. He retires the first 2 batters in that inning. He gets ahead of White a couple of strikes, who starts to foul ball, goes to 3-2. He walks him.
9-pitch at bat, I think, right?
But let's assume for a second, and you can guarantee Maui's going to replay this later on tonight. Let's see if he can get out of the jam first. And it's popped up, and he will get out of the jam. We think he does. If he doesn't walk White with 2 outs in that inning, you never see Bregman, you never see Brantley until the 8th inning. Longest outing of his career. He pitched a heck of a game here today to Tyler Mahle. See the Reds in action Friday, June the 28th. Cubbies coming to town. We'll have the fireworks show after the game presented by Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit Reds.com/150. I don't know about you, Chris. We talked about it last night as far as number of pitches per start. Garrett Cole and Verlander going 1-2 in the major leagues. And yet Cole is lifted after 6 innings this game, coming off a 1-2-3 inning. Will Harris takes over.
Kind of tough to second guess Brent Strom or A.J. Hinch, given their recent record there in Texas or in Houston. Of course, they've got guys who can pitch late in the ball game that are not quite as overused in the last few days as the Reds bullpen.
You know, what happened with Houston is Kyle Farmer's in there to bat in a 2-1 game. Is they had 3 extra innings games over an 8-day period. And they just wore out their primary guys during that run. Virtually everybody, but especially their primary guys, and Harris being one of them, as it's 2-1 on Farmer. And then they went limping into Toronto, and they were wondering if some of their key relievers were going to get a break. Well, they got a break because it was 3 blowout games. The Astros routed the Blue Jays the first 2 games before getting lit up in a 3rd game and didn't have to use any of those guys. They only needed 1 reliever last night. Davinsky 1 inning. And they used Harris, Rondon, and Presley here on Monday night. And it's into right center field. It'll fall in a base hit for Farmer.
Well, had a hero home run last night to put the Reds up by 3. Here, a really nice job of hitting it in the right center field gap. He went with this pitch perfectly. Got a curveball from Harris. That is his bread and butter pitch, and put it in a good spot.
All right, here comes the top of the order now in Senzel. He walked leading off the Cincinnati 1st inning, and then Cole struck him out and got him on a pop-up to short right. And a tapper down to 3rd base, and this is an easy double play. 2 down in the inning. So here comes Jesse Winker. A perfect day for Winker. A walk, a couple of singles. Bowman throwing in a Cincinnati bullpen. We'll see him in the 8th. Winker 7 hits in his last 12 at-bats. Of course, 4 of those hits came along with 5 runs batted in. On Sunday, he's homered his last 2 starts. And why not make it 3 straight starts? Down a run here in the 7th. Strike 1. Slow roller right side, and the Reds are done in the 7th. 2-1 game. Key performers brought to you by your Tri-State Buick GMC dealers. Both starting pitchers. Cole 6 innings of 6-hit 1-run baseball. He stranded 7 runners over a 4-inning stretch. And for Tyler Mahle, the longest outing of his major league career. 7 innings, 2 runs, allowed a 2-out, 2-run home run on an 0-2 pitch to Michael Brantley in the 6th inning, and that's a difference in the game. And how well has Matt Bowman thrown the ball for the Reds since being brought on board?
I think David Bell had a pretty good idea what they had in Matt Bowman. He had been with Bowman in St. Louis when David Bell was the bench coach to Mike Matheny. And Bowman had, for a couple of years in a row there, led the Cardinals in appearances. Not overpowering. It's a combination of fastball, cutter, slider, and splitter. The splitter is kind of an unusual type splitter. It's kind of a fosh in between your ring finger and middle finger. But he gets a lot of hitters out on their front foot. He's a guy that depends on upsetting the hitter's timing.
High hopper down to third, and a throw is in time by Suarez to retire Marisnik. 1 pitch, 1 out for Bowman. Now Tony Kemp, the batter. He started each of the first 2 games of this series. 0 for 3 last night, and Kemp went hitless in 4 at-bats on Monday. Showing bunt, and it's in there, a strike. Reds will have Suarez, Dietrich, and Puig. And remember now, they have Joey Votto available off their bench. They've already used Kyle Farmer. So they have Votto from the left side. And there's a base hit into left center field by Kemp, his first of the series. They have right-handed batters Urban and technically Lorenzen. And then you have a switch hitter in Tucker Barnhart. And now a quick message from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky at Miami Valley Gaming.
Astros will bring on right-hander Ryan Presley when the Reds bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Astros, a team 22 games over 500, they do not have a single left-hander in their bullpen. You know, the one guy who was really good for them the last couple of years was Tony Sipp. You know, journeyman guy, but he pitched really well for the Astros. But they don't have a single lefty in the bullpen, and apparently not causing them a whole lot of damage. Not to say they won't be active in pursuit of a left-hander as we approach a trade deadline. Marlins in St. Louis later. White Sox at Wrigley Field. Those games coming up much later tonight. Here's Bregman.
Kemp can steal a base, and Matt Bowman is a little deliberate to the plate. Had a big lead down there on the last pitch, did Kemp. A little shorter this time.
1-1 on Bregman. 20 home runs on the year. Good pitch there. Breaking ball that catches the outside corner. 1-2. Runner goes and hook foul.
Good thing, because he had a huge jump that time. Not that he had much of a bigger lead, but he just got a good break on it. He actually leaning a little bit before he made his first stride.
There are two very important hitters here with the Astros up a run in the 8th inning and a runner on base. Bregman and Brantley. 1-2 from Bowman. Bounces up there. Three-two pitch.
Leaning that time. Interesting. The Astros, you know, they've got more stolen bases than do the Reds. I think about 8 more. But they've been thrown out an awful lot. They've been thrown out the second most times of anybody in baseball. Kansas City's been thrown out 20 times, but they've got 70 stolen bases. Houston has 37, been thrown out 19 times. Not a good ratio.
High bouncer, but with the runner starting, they'll only get the play at first base, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So here comes Michael Brantley. You do have a base open. He's a left-handed hitter. Now, granted, you're talking about a 3-time batting champion in the on-deck circle in Altuve, but it's his first game back since the second week of May. And the Reds are going to go after Brantley.
Well, he's 6 for 9 in this series and leads the American League in multi-hit games. Having a heck of a year is Michael Brantley.
He hit the home run on a 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the inner half of the plate. Very reminiscent of the home run that was hit by Brandon Belt. The game we brought up earlier that Mahle was pitching great baseball out in San Francisco. Had a lead in the game and threw a breaking ball in the inner part of the plate, much like that one right there, and Belt whacked it into the San Francisco Bay.
Well, you just wonder what kind of overall career Michael Brantley could have had he had been able to avoid some of the injuries that basically cost him 2 years.
That home run by Brantley, by the way, 438 feet. That's the longest home run he's ever hit in his major league career. One ball and one strike. And Bowman with a runner at second and 2 away. And a base hit into left field. They're going to wave around the runner. Here comes the throw to the plate by Winker, and they got it. Beautifully done by Jesse Winker, charging hard, playing shallow and left, and a 2-hop throw to Casale right on the nose.
Well, right on line it was. The question now, will the Astros challenge that and see if Kurt Casale gave the runner a sliding lane towards home? A.J. Hinch is coming out. The one way that a catcher can get away from giving the runner access to home plate is if the throw takes him to that spot. And I think that's what the case is right here. There's no way that Casale could have vacated that area and been able to catch the baseball.
Well, I tell you, you look at that replay, this does not look good for the Reds here. It appears as though Casale, now, you know, the question becomes, are you giving between the legs a part of the plate?
No, you're not. That does not count. In fact,
so
I
right
asked
there,
umpires that. But I mean, but in order to field the throw, that will be the overriding decision right there. What a catcher cannot do is camp out in front of home plate and then await the throw. But if the throw is coming to a spot where it takes you in front of home plate, then you don't have to give him a sliding lane. And when a throw comes from left field, that angle causes the catcher to get right out in front of home plate. This will be very interesting to see how they figure this out in Chelsea, New York. They're going to call him safe. Oh, no, out.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Hudson wasn't sure what he was going to do there.
I think you know what he's thinking there. He's thinking, yeah, you know, like
we're going to leave it the
right
way it
call.
is. Call
right,
confirmed.
Right. So Casale is off the plate there, and then the throw brings him in front of the plate, and that's where they're making the judgment.
Well done.
So the Reds will bat in the 8th, still down a run. Get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game on Fox Sports Ohio. We call it Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. An hour later than normal tomorrow with the Reds on the road in the Central Time Zone. And the matchups for the weekend. Big series, 4-gamer at Miller Park, the Reds and the Brewers. All right, we told you that after the pinch hitting appearance a moment ago by Tony Kemp, that there would be a pitching change, and it's Ryan Presley. Presley worked 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 3 batters here in the 8th inning on Monday night. He faced Puig, Winker, Peraza, and Casale. Peraza had the hit. And a slow roller gobbled up by Bregman, and Suarez retired. Reds put the first 2 runners on in the first inning. Cole got a double play and a line out by Dietrich. After the home run by Puig in the second, they had 1-out singles, 2-out singles, I beg your pardon, by Winker and Suarez. In the 4th inning, back-to-back 1-out singles by Iglesias and Peraza. But Cole able to strike out Casale and the pitcher Malley. They got a 1-out single by Winker in the 5th, a 2-out walk to Dietrich, but Cole able to fan Puig, and it's been pretty quiet since then. 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. A leadoff single, but a double play in the 7th and one gone in the 8th. And a jam shot pop up into foul ground for out number 2. Roberto Osuna is the Houston closer. He has 17 saves on this season. Let's see if Puig can run into one and tie this thing up. Puig has had really odd body language over the course of his at-bat since that home run. He bounced out to the first baseman in the 4th inning at 2-on before he struck out in the 5th. I don't know if he's just frustrated with what's transpired since that home run. And that one hooked down the left field line. This will be for extra bases. Puig motoring into second base and delivers a 2-out double, so the tying run is in scoring position for Iglesias.
Well, a breaking ball, which is one of Presley's better pitches. Not a bad pitch, right out on the end of the bat, but Puig is so strong. He gets it out in front of home plate, hooks it down the line. Nice play by Brantley to get it right back in there. Throws right on the money, but Puig will outrun it.
This is where Iglesias has been at his best this year. There's no two ways about that. He's been among the best hitters in all the National League, batting with runners in scoring position. Only Nolan Arenado has been better. Iglesias a .397 hitter in these situations. And a high fly ball just got underneath it. Will send Brantley to his right, and that'll retire the side. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Toyota. For all your Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by First Financial Bank, we put your success first. Learn more at bankatfirst.com, member FDIC. Cubs coming to town a week from Friday, presented by NOCO. Reds and the Chicago Cubs. Visit Reds.com/150 for tickets. Matt Bowman leading off against Jose Altuve. He is the only Astro left from the old National League days on this roster. Talked about it last night. They made the jump in 2013, and man, they had some lean days. That one is whacked into left field. Sounded like he broke his bat, and that's out number 1. Well, they started to build this thing back up 4 years ago. Push their record over 500. 2 games stepped backward the following year before leapfrogging in 17, winning the division over 100 wins, capped off by a World Series title, the first ever in Houston franchise history, and then advancing on to the American League Championship Series 1 year ago, losing to Boston. Strike 1 on Reddick. If you're looking ahead to the Cincinnati ninth, it'll be Jose Peraza, Kurt Casale, and then the pitcher spot. And again, the Reds on their bench have available Votto, Irvin, Lorenzen, and Barnhart. And that will be against Osuna, one would assume. Osuna's not had a save in quite a few days. It's been a week because they haven't played a game that required a save chance from Roberto Osuna. In fact, he's not saved a game in 10 days. That was on the 9th of this month against Baltimore. He, in a blowout game, pitched a scoreless inning against Milwaukee. That was last Wednesday. So maybe he'll have some rust to work off here, and the Reds can take advantage in the bottom of the ninth. Weak pop fly to center field, will be out number 2.
Well, you just do not see that many comfortable at bats against Matt Bowman. I mean, hitters taking odd swings. They seem to be on their front foot an awful lot. He does a couple of different things in his delivery that may upset the hitter's timing. One is when he steps back, he varies the amount of time he steps back and then waits before he starts the rest of his delivery. Throws some different arm angles. Tops out about 92 on the fastball, but it's his other stuff that really are most the effective pitches he has.
Gurriel is 0 for 3. His line to right, popped to right, and had a hit taken away on a good play made by Iglesias. Coming up after the game, Reds Live brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. Our entire crew, Jeff Pecoro, Brian Giesenslaw, Jim Day and company standing by. Jim will handle all the road trip. Be right up here in the booth with you, Chris, for the 4 games in Milwaukee and a quick in and out to Anaheim. Foul ball out of play. Then the Reds return home, and that will be, I mean, they're going to be playing some big games here, man, coming up inside the division, outside of the 2 against the Angels, starting tomorrow night. 4 against Milwaukee. They come back home, play the Cubbies for 3, 4 against Milwaukee again. So there's a lot going on, and some big ball games for the Redlegs. Have a 2-game series against Cleveland over the 4th of July weekend to continue that homestand. Two and two. And a line drive into right field, a 2-out single by Gurriel will keep the inning alive for Tyler White. And be careful in this at bat. We've talked about it already with this guy. I know he only has a couple of home runs and limited playing time this year, but you're in a 1-run ball game. Waiting for White to make sure those batting gloves are tightened up. And now White digging in. Apparently they weren't tight enough. One ball and 2 strikes. Popped up shallow right. Puig coming on hard. He'll get to it. So here we go. Bottom of the 9th inning. 2 scoreless frames by Bowman. Reds down a run. Bottom of the 9th. Trying to win it and sweep the Astros. The 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup continues tomorrow night on Fox. After a dominating win, Alex Morgan and the United States take on Sweden. This will be a big showdown. Highly anticipated. Coverage begins 2 Eastern on Fox. That was one of the big-time losses for the United States team. An off year from the World Cup, but nonetheless, Sweden, serious competition here in Game 3. I believe that's a team, when they beat them, that a couple of the Americans just trashed the Swedish team about their style of play. Well, they won the game. All right, here we go. Roberto Osuna. He's blown 2 saves all year. Here in the month of June, he has 1 save. And we're 3 weeks into June. He also has 1 blown save. He has not pitched since last Wednesday. And that was in a meaningless situation in a blowout game against Milwaukee. So we'll see. Peraza. Casali would be next. And that ball's in the air, driven into left center field. And Peraza has come up with a 2-base hit to begin the inning.
What a big start to this inning by Jose Peraza. Got out in front of a fastball, 92 miles an hour. Maybe it was a cutter, because Osuna's fastball is normally 97 and 98 miles an hour. He also throws a little cutter. That ball just came right back out over the plate and up. And the second hit of the day for Jose, and this is the big one.
Now, Tucker Barnhart last year was the best punter the Reds had on their team. He put down 3 sacrifices. He has 1 so far this year.
So the question, though, Tom, is do you bunt here, or do you have Tucker Barnhart get up there and try to pull the ball? Maybe he punches one through in the outfield and scores a run.
On the first pitch, he takes a strike, so apparently, you can always change your mind. And if he could bunt it up the first base side, he might even be able to get a bunt hit. But Barnhart's a 201 batter. Peraza, his lead out at second base.
Well, what you can't have here is a wasted at bat with a strikeout or a ground ball to the left side or something like that that doesn't get the runner over. Got to figure out a way to put the ball in play here.
I mean, that is good morning, good afternoon, and good night. So now Joey Votto will come to the plate. He will pinch it for Bowman. What an excellent job turned in once again by Bowman. What a find he's turned out to be. Votto, a .257 batter, has 6 home runs and 16 runs batted in.
Boy, entirely changes the at-bat by not having that runner at third.
Votto looking for his 2nd run batted in on this homestand. He's 4 of 15. Got the start last night. He had a pair of doubles and 4 at-bats and scored a run. A leadoff double by Peraza. He is the tying run. Oh, and Votto had a good cut, but fouled it back out of play.
Osuna bringing the heat. 98 and then 99.
Osuna glanced back at Peraza. Not much of a lead out there. Granted, you have Bregman playing, about 10 feet behind Peraza. But I would expect Peraza to get a little bit bigger lead, especially a secondary lead, carrying the tying run. And he has extended that lead a little bit already. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Votto rung up. 2 down in the inning.
Good old-fashioned country hardball right there.
All right, so now it's up to Nick Senzel. Tying run, Peraza, 1 hit away from a tie game, and there it is by Senzel. Here comes a runner. Here comes a throw to the plate. Tie game. And Senzel's on his way to second base.
Well, hit it hard off the very first pitch that he sees. And Michael Brantley gets to that ball in a hurry, and if this throw is anywhere near on line, you've got a good chance to get Peraza. The tying run comes in, and the ball got away from the catcher, Stubbs. I don't know if Stubbs threw his glove at the ball or not, or just lost his glove. If he threw his glove at the ball, Senzel ought to be at third.
All right, so now Jesse Winker, 2 hits and a walk in a game, a chance to be the hero. Senzel ties the game with 2 outs in the 9th, and a ground ball back up through the middle, and the Reds win. The Reds win. The Reds are going to win the game and sweep the Astros. the youngsters. Senzel ties it with 2 outs in the ninth. And in the wink of an eye, Winker, the game-winning base hit into right center field. And the Reds have swept the Houston Astros. First time the Astros have been swept all year long. And Winker, a 3-hit game here today. What a huge win for the Redlegs, and our Miller Lite hold true moment. All 1-run wins. First time the Reds have won 3 straight 1-run games since September of 2013, when they swept the Dodgers 3 games in a row in 1-run decisions. How about that, Mr. Welsh?
Wow, I mean, what a game and what a finish. And it's so good to see, as you said, the young guys getting it done right here. Nick Senzel and Jesse Winker. I mean, this crowd doesn't want to leave the stadium.
No, you're right. I mean, this looks like
neither do I.
They want to hang around for a while. And Winker is going to be joining Jeff Piccolo.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tom. I'm here with Jesse Winker. And Jess, he's putting his, there you go, he's getting everything off, so when he gets wet, he's not going to get anything ruined, his batting gloves and everything. He knows they're lining up to get him, so he's just waiting. Now he says, just come on. So Puig and Farmer will bring the obligatory bath for you. But first pitch, you saw Senzel, he gets that first pitch fastball. You're waiting for the same thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, they're a really good team. They have a really good bullpen, really good pitching staff, and you know, you're just trying to put the barrel on the ball, and here we go.
Get a hit. Walk out of the way so you can get it. I'll tell you what, guys, it is humid down here, so that has to feel pretty good, as humid as it is down here.
That feels great.
Feels great, too, is when you get that hit. And you walk down, you are very demonstrative anyway, but that has to feel great.
I am? Demonstrative?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, winning's fun. And whenever you can help the team win, it's what this game's about. You know, it's a good team. We just swept them at home. That's huge for us. Man, I'm kind of out of words right now. I'm just happy we won.
Yesterday, you start the game off with the home run. Today, you come right back with 3 base hits and the game-winning RBI. You're really starting to swing the bat well. Joey's starting to swing the bat well. Really lengthens this lineup when all you guys are hitting, doesn't it?
For sure. We've had a bunch of great at bats. You know, Farmer had a huge homer last night. He had another nice swing today. You know, Puig with the home run. Gino's been carrying us all year. He's put together great at-bats all year. So it's like one of those things you just want to fall in line and pass the baton. Our pitching staff's been unbelievable. You know, Bowman came in and shoved. It was great. So, yeah, it was a good win. It was a good game.
You hear so much about Houston and how great their pitching staff is. Yours went pitch for pitch with them, and you beat 2 of their best.
Yeah, toe for toe. It just speaks to them. You know, Tyler today and Disco yesterday. It's awesome to be a part of. And, wait, who threw our first game?
Castillo.
Oh, yeah. Well, forgot. Well, Castillo Day. Can't forget that. But, you know, it's just one of those things that they did their job, and we're just trying to do our jobs behind them. They've carried us all year. Our pitching staff has, and it's been great.
Congratulations on a huge victory.
Thank you. That was awesome.
All right. Thanks, Jesse. All right, guys. So 4-game winning streak ties the season high, Tom.
I tell you, it's great stuff indeed. The Reds sweep the Astros, so they finish on a 4-game winning streak on this homestand after losing the first 2 to the Rangers. And now, enjoy the moment. A huge series begins tomorrow night in Milwaukee. 2 in the ninth. DeWink with a game-winning hit.